So if you're planning on, stocking your home bar and getting all your tools, you're going to want to think about liquor, obviously. There's a ton to choose from. When making cocktails, you don't want to skimp on the price. Some people think that you can kind of skimp on the quality of your liquor that you're buying because you're mixing it into a cocktail, but the better that your booze is, it's just going to be that much better of a cocktail. You want to get one of everything. Some people like mezcal. It's not something that's necessary. You obviously want to have a vermouth or a couple of vermouths. Like when mixing cocktails, people don't really consider their vermouth to be really important. That sometimes they go for the cheap stuff or the stuff on the bottom shelf, but your vermouth is going to be just as important as the whiskey or the gin or the vodka that you're putting in your cocktail. It's just going to make it that much better. So you really want to, shell out some decent cash for a good vermouth. I recommend Carpano Antica. It's a great Italian sweet vermouth, as well as Cocchi di Torino. These are two fantastic vermouths. They're going to be different stylistically. This one's a little bit more syrupy, kind of thicker. This one is my go-to. It's fantastic. It stands up to those really hot ryes if you're making a Manhattan, and it really makes a great cocktail. These both do. Dry vermouth, it's kind of something that people don't really normally look at when they're looking at making a martini or something like that, but it is an essential part to a classic gin martini, the way the hipsters make it out in San Francisco. So that's something to think about when you're thinking of booze and what type of cocktails you're making. If you're making martinis and Manhattans, it's something that you definitely want to put some good money out there for. Vodka. Not my favorite, but my go-to is usually Tito's or Kettle One. Tito's handmade in Austin, gluten-free, and then it's good stuff. Vodka. It's not gonna, vodka you can mix with anything. It's gonna taste good. Gin-wise, I like to keep a Plymouth gin. This is actually a stylistic. This is a style of gin. It's called Plymouth because of the region that it comes from, or you want to get a good London dry like Hendrick's or Beefeater, or that stuff you probably see in your grandma's liquor cabinet. It's all going to be good stuff. London dry gin is just really what you want to look for. Tequila wise, there's a whole lot to choose from. Kind of depends on your taste preferences. These are going to be two Reposado tequilas, so they've been aged in oak barrels for 6 months. Altos, that's my go-to with tequila. Really the only thing really the thing you want to look for when picking out tequila is the 100% agave on the label. If it doesn't say 100% agave, it could be really there's 50% agave in it, but it can be really anything else after that 49% or what have you. Can be any other grain type liquor. So 100% agave is what you want to look for. Blanco is just going to be an unaged tequila, so it's going to be kind of the pure essence of the blue agave. Repo is going to be, what I like to use for margaritas and stuff. You get a little bit more of a caramel taste, a little bit more of that oak flavor. It's usually what I like to taste when I'm drinking tequilas. So whiskey-wise, you really want something, a rye and a bourbon whiskey. Difference between the two is just that what the grain is. Bourbon's going to be 50% of a corn base, and then rye is going to be obviously a grain whiskey. I personally like a little bit hotter of a rye because of that, the quality of the vermouth that I usually use. So I look at, you know, what the proof is. Usually 46% is usually right around where you want to be if you're using that good vermouth. A little bit hotter than normal. Rye is obviously going to be a little bit, there's a bitterness to it that they have, just a slight bitterness. It's not going to be as sweet as a bourbon is, but both are going to be something I recommend having on your shelf, one of each at least. You know, Scotch, Irish whiskey, depending on what you want to do, it's not a necessity, but if you want it, you know, it's not something that's a bad thing to have, as well as a rum. Flor de Caña, it's good stuff. It's I think it's Puerto Rican. They do a Blanco as well. Again, it's just something that is going to be your taste preference, aged or unaged. That's going to be the difference. With aged stuff, you're just going to have a little bit more of a sweetness, oakiness, caramel, kind of cocoa flavor to it. Flor de Caña is something that I recommend. It's a good one.
Yeah, I can tell. Bottle's almost gone.
It is almost gone. We make a lot of rum drinks.